I'm revisiting certain times of life that I wasn't too fond of.
Well, like somebody tell you, yo, meet me in the cell and all that.
No, but we're talking about stuff other than that.
Okay.
How about a guard telling you to go in?
Oh yeah, or bend over,
or
cough and all that.
Well, yeah, you go through parts of that.
Okay.
On the anal area.
Yeah, it's Tales from the Jails. TNS Media Group with the team and the family. We back here with another episode. Myself, Brahim Jackson, and my guy Berto. Everybody know Bert. Bert is a lawyer in the city of Philadelphia. He's assisted many people with, getting out of prison, getting the best deals possible, getting money back. A lot of different things. Bert, tell them, tell them about yourself, Bert, if you could, please.
Well, I'll be real brief because I'm an old person and I got a lot of history. But I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. Was out there protesting, being an activist back in the civil rights days, and a lot of us left. I often tell people, I'm original from the '60s when we were protesting and trying to get the black people where we could go into places, because there was a sign down the street from my house that had on the fence, whites only. So I'm from that era, and was an activist down there. And then I came up. I went to school. One of my friends, I wrote this complaint, and he was a lawyer down in Indianapolis. His name was Pat Chavis. Pat Chavis said, you just wrote a complaint and got all them workers all that money. If you were a lawyer, you could help your people, and you could make you some money. So I said, well, I want to help my people and make money. So I said, I'll become a lawyer. He said, well, go become, and that's what I did. Went to law school here at Temple and just stayed up here.
Wow.
And that's basically it. And I will say this, that I've learned, I somewhat grew up, I guess, middle class, but I've always, when I was 18, 17, Reverend Hicks came up here to the Black Power Conference. This is what brought me to Philly. The Black Power Conference in 1968. And Reverend Hicks said, you ain't never seen so many black people. And he was talking about North Philly because the conference was down here on 18th and Diamond Street at Church of the Advocate. That's where the Black Power Conference was. And he said, you've never seen so many black people in your life in North Philadelphia. And come to quiet, I don't know if people know this, North Philadelphia, in terms of density of people, black people, only one other place in the country at that time was Harlem that had more black people in it in terms of the density. So that's another reason why I came to Philadelphia. I wanted to be with my people.
Now, let me ask you a question, Bert. Coming from, once again, this is we call him Bert, but his name is Berto Elmore or Bert Elmore, however you want to say it. But Bert, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because on this show, what we do on this show, we speak about, prison, what goes on the inside of the prison, not to glorify it, but to kind of give people,
beware.
To beware. Like, listen, the jail is not a place that you should want to go or a place that you should feel comfortable, living the rest of your life. So you come up here, you get it, you go to Temple. You graduate from Temple. That's law school. You went to Temple?
Yeah, I went to Temple Law School and graduated. And I lived in North Philly ever since I've been here. I didn't want to live nowhere else.
And how long were you practicing law before you just recently retired?
Well, let's not say just totally. Don't put me out to the pasture yet.
Oh, you still want? You still trying to get a check? You still want to get a check, huh, Bert?
I still want to. I still want to be a part of the legal community. Assist, and that's why I got on my little gear today. Not guilty.
Right.
I want to maintain that.
So what does that mean? What does not guilty mean, Bert? What does that mean?
Well, it means not guilty. What I'm saying, when I was a kid, there was a thing called Black Power, and when we used to walk down, I was a teenager. It was back in the middle of the '60s. We used to scream Black Power to each other. We walked down the street, and we would say Black Power, brother. We'd be hollering and screaming in school, Black Power. You know, we go to.
It was like a badge of honor to say that.
Yeah. And I was thinking, I've been trying to keep black people out of the prisons,
Right.
and it dawned on me, we need being all these years in the system, and working down at the what I still in my head say is a slave auction house down at the CJC. I always wanted to figure out a way to do something meaningful. So that's what I did. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna cut you off, but listen, you said so. Now you said a slave auction house is what CJC is. These courthouses.
Yeah.
Explain to me what you mean by like a slave auction house. What do you mean? Like this, like, you know, people are just being auctioned off of prison. You know.
No. What I'm saying is when you go in the courthouse, you got a judge.
Okay.
You got a DA, and you got a lawyer or U.S. attorney in terms of federal cases, you know. And most of the time they end up pleading people. And when I say they everybody, like most of the time it's a system of where you get pleas, you have to plea. And so when you in that courtroom, I've heard judges say, you're mine for the next 5 years.
Wow.
You're mine, like when I put you on probation, you're mine for the next 6 years. You're mine for the next 2 years. So we're human beings. And like when also what they refer to black people, most of the cases down there at the CJC are about black people. And do you know what they call us? They call us in a lot of the memos.
What?
Like they'll say to one judge or to another judge, they'll say, well, we gonna change. They send out these memos. Judge Smith will be taking over the inventory of Judge McElroy.
The inventory.
That's inventory. When you think inventory,
Wow.
you think of yourself as product.
Like,
Exactly.
So they haven't changed that much in terms
Inventory.
of
That was
slavery.
large right there. That word was large amongst
Inventory.
other words that you use.
Yeah,
So,
products.
inventory.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and then what we would do, you get inside the courtroom and you got this. They used to call us this back in the day, the slavery. I want, Judge, this is a good little boy here. He ain't do nothing but just, you know, can you give him 2 years? And then the DA said, no, I want him to go to jail for 5 years. Judge, he needs to go away for 5. It's like they're auctioning.
Yes,
Wow.
they are.
Auctioning us as a people.
So let me ask you a question. Now, Brahim here did, 21
21 years.
21 years in federal custody. Now, Bert, from your experiences, is it a difference between the state and the feds as far as the courthouse? You said this is like a auction for individual inventory was the word that you used. Is it something that you see in the federal system as well, or just in the state?
Well, I did find most of my work was in state court, but in terms of the feds, I don't think it's really much difference. I think anytime in incarceration, you get the same results. You see, it's up to the brothers, and we are strong people, and and they've done studies. They know when they put you behind a bar, when they put you behind bars, it has an effect on you. It's just like it has an effect when they put us in the bottom of the slave ship, and yet the brothers in the prison, like this young man here, he's holed. I asked him, I said, are you bitter? Before we got on this show, I said, are you bitter? He said, no.
Well, he get on my nerves all the time, so I'm thinking he's bitter a little bit.
Well,
he gets on my nerves, Bert. You don't understand, man.
Well, he got to be a little crazy.
Well, a lot crazy. It's control.
Another word is called
crazy.
Majnoon.
Yeah, it's control. That's what I'm saying.
It's control. One thing about prison, over a course of time, you learn how to corral it, because there's only two ways you're coming out. Either you made it or they broke you. It ain't no in between. Right. There is no in between. I haven't had sex with no man. I haven't told on no man. I kept my integrity through 21 years. It's not too many people that did 21 years that can tell you that they ain't suck a dick in there, or if they didn't tell on nobody in there. It's not too many people that do that. So them two things alone besides the thousands of other aspects that mess with the mind, will trouble a lot of guys in the joint. Like you said, it messes with your psyche, man, real bad. Like I went in 19, I came home 19 mentally, so I had to force myself to catch up to the day's times. I'm a 41-year-old man when I come home, but I'm living with a 19-year-old mentality, if that makes any sense.
It does, and I just got a little question to ask you, young man. Now, you went away, you came out whole, you ain't, you got issues. You had to have issues. You've been locked up for 20-something years.
Well, he had issues before he went in, though.
Well, it probably was crazy. But anyway,
I knew him all my life. He had a lot of issues.
But this young man here has come out better than a lot I've met. Like, you remember that brother in the news came home from prison for murder and murdered his mother because she wouldn't give him some money? The damn fool.
Yeah, but they're dealing with, like, I think they should come up with a term for dudes that did 5 years or better, like how they got PTSD. They're supposed to have. I think you can get a check. I think it's whereas though it's really a law whereas though the incarcerated inmate after 10 years you can go there and apply for SSI, because you're not working on the same functional mind clock that the person that been out here the last 20 years did. I have times where I get in the shower and I'm getting in there with shower slippers on. So it feels funny to me to get in the shower with my just regular raw feet up. You know what I'm saying? And this is a conformation from jail. I'm going to the shower with my boots on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm used to a dude standing outside the shower while I'm, watching me, making sure nobody running there on me. I might be.
No, was that a guard or just
no? This is one of the guys. This is one of the homies.
Okay.
Like me and you might be in there, and you might be like, "Yo, I'm about to go shower." I'm like, "All right, come on, Bert. You go get in the shower. I just stand outside the shower until you done." Because you got guys that might want to run up. Oh, that's Bert. We're gonna go slide up on him while you're in the shower. But that's a whole nother. That's why it just all comes to the fact of it's 100% mental. And a lot of I am broken in ways that people don't know unless you know me. Right. I'm not gonna say I made it out unscathed. I go through things every day, more so than others. Of trying to stay on the straight track.
And how long you been out?
I've been out now. I came home 2021. I did about 3-4 years in the court of violation. I went back for a firearm in my possession. Why? Not because I'm robbing the streets or no. There's no excuse. I'm a convicted felon. So if I get caught with that, that's a penalty towards me. But why I had it, my excuse is I'm trying to work. I'm trying to do the little things I'm doing, and I'm cutting corners, but I'm not. I need that gun on me for what I'm doing, because people would think it's sweet, and especially this day of time, they think they can take something from you. I'm not letting nobody take nothing from me. Like now, I deal with it, and I'm doing everything legit. I'll be damned if I work this week and got my little $500-$600 and I come out of here and y'all take that from me. No. Now, want to ask, is this a mentality from prison, or is this just a man mentality?
No, I think it's a constructive mentality that the criminal justice system, and not only criminal justice system, but the capitalist way of life has created for young black men
to embed this in their minds.
To put it in there, there's three things that we have to deal with when we deal with crime, and we have to understand that. Well, I call it the criminal industry. It makes money, right? It keeps fear going. Fear. That's the main thing. That's why so many black men have guns now, because they've created this atmosphere of notorious atmosphere in our communities of fear of our young people.
Because I can't stand a young nigga. I can't stand a young nigga.
Well, we're gonna get that. And now, and also, it also destabilizes our community. That's why we have crime. Now remember this: the three things. It makes money. All right. Right. You sure? We all know that.
Yes, a lot of money.
It creates a great deal of fear in the world, not only in our communities, but in wealthy white community, everybody. Right. Communities where there's no crime, they still scared, because it's part of the marketing of crime. And number two, it is a very good destabilizer of communities, and it definitely destabilizes the African American community. And a lot of this, I think we could deal with and I consider myself an expert, and I'm on crime, you know, being a lawyer for 35 years and living in North Philadelphia, I get the you know, I understand it very well.
Right.
I know one of the reasons why we have it, and that's why I appreciate you, giving me this opportunity to come on and share, you know, this knowledge in the community. What we have, and I have a big banner in my house with Malcolm X on it. The worst crime the white man committed was to teach us to hate ourselves. Now, I say that if we could address that issue, we don't get along because we don't like each other, and they see that, and they fed it, and now here we are in 2025. All over this country, everybody is scared of young black men.
Yo, that's crazy you said that too. I was just speaking about that. Like, you see a lot of black on black crime. Like, we just saw a video the other day. The young boys downtown or wherever they was at, coming out of somewhere where they was
Hookah
coming at.
lounge.
And another black guy ran up on another black guy, emptied a gun, and it just shot him for whatever reason. I'm not saying
We have no fear for the killing each other.
it is crazy, and you don't
And we
see that
wanna
with
do it at a
no
longer
other
rate.
race. You don't see it with no other race doing
You
that.
don't see
We the
Asians
only
running
people
around
that do
doing
that.
You don't see the white people
Well,
participating.
you have to understand the history of it. Like I said, when you talk about crime in our community, it is purposely. Somebody has, how would I say, somewhere a long time ago in slavery, they instilled this self-hate in us. And then they have purposely like grinded through it, like, let me tell you this, some people can beat me up, but in 1968, you know, in 1966, my brother Stokely Carmichael screamed out Black Power, right?
Yeah.
You've heard of that, even you, young man, you heard Black Power, right? Well, that happened in 66. In 1968, the government came up with the COINTEL program. And then in 1972, Nixon started the war on crime. And then in 1980, Reagan said we're going to have a war on drugs. All of that has been a response to Black Power and to keep the division. Matter of fact, that's where they became experts at it in 68. What they would do, they would deliberately send letters, because back then we had hundreds of black organizations. They would send letters out to the FBI. It's documented. Now you can go online and look at it. And they would send a letter out like to, and I ain't even gonna talk about the gangs yet, but they would send a letter out to various black organizations saying so-and-so's a snitch, so-and-so did this, so-and-so did that. And it would build
Create
this
hate or dislike for somebody else.
unity in the group.
Wow.
And they found it to be very effective.
Wow.
So what they did, they just kept it going, except now it's more sophisticated with that, because now they use what they call social media algorithms. And I'm very, very leery of algorithms. And you know, this city, I think last year they had somewhere close to $100 million just to deal with the technology. Now listen to this, technology of following social media programs and stuff. That's what causes our kids to be so. People don't forget. When was the pandemic? What year?
What, 2020?
Was it 2020?
That's when it started, 2021?
I just know when they started, we have to remember, and this is something that we have to do. We have to remember our children, the high schoolers and grade schoolers, they didn't have nothing to do. White kids, they have other family structure and things that they do with. Our kids, if you're poor in North Philadelphia, South Philly, West Philly, you sit up in your room
On that tablet.
or
iPad.
that iPhone, and you watch what?
Internet.
And you watch the internet and you watch violence, and they kept violence, and they would send you, like nowadays they even put it on the screen. You want more of this? You know, on the phone, you want to see more of this?
You subscribe.
And because you come from a hostile community where everybody angry anyway.
This is what you like. This is what you're comfortable
You're
with.
right. And we have to remember our kids watch the whole year of that.
This is what you gravitate to.
And then also, you got a lot of these shows where they glorify, criminals.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
They glorify the criminals, these movies, these shows, all this stuff. The criminal is glorified.
But
the
I'm
person
not
who destroys the community is glorified.
right. But I'm not saying that. And being an older person and crime, so you have to be old. If you remember, the only person in our communities back in the day, my mother told me any black man needs one good black suit, because you could wear that black suit to church, you could wear it to funerals, and you could wear it to weddings. Because black men didn't have no business suits. We didn't have no business, and you look at. There were no black businessmen. Mm-hmm. And so when there was a need in our community, the only person that had money was the hustler. Mm. I tell young people that, and I'm sorry, Rafi, can I just talk a little bit just about this hustler thing?
Sure, go ahead, yeah.
All right, now here's the deal, and I call it the Leroy story. Back on the slave plantation, this is where we started, that you got two brothers, you got Leroy and Johnny, right? And it's hot. I mean, it's really hot out there in the plantation at one particular day. And they say, I'm tired of working for this man. And they said, Johnny, yeah, I'm tired of it too. So they get together and plot. When the master come up or the overseer come up tomorrow on the horse, you get behind him, take this nail, and you jam it in that horse's ass, right? And when you jam it in the horse's ass, I'm gonna be standing there, and the horse come down, I'm gonna stick my leg out there and the horse gonna hit my leg, and I'm gonna be out of it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so what are the things that we have to face? So when the master came up, Leroy said, oh, master, look at that horse. Master, oh, master, look at this beautiful horse. And Johnny go in the back of the jab it. And then Leroy, oh, Lord Jesus, oh, God help me, Jesus. I can't walk tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So Johnny, in terms of the everybody in the slave community knew that little slick. He deliberately did that so he wouldn't have to come out here. So it was not, was that criminal or was it survival? See, the master would say that was a criminal act.
I would say it's survival.
It's survival, right?
Yeah.
So we have to understand the only people that really had money back in the day was the slicksters. You know, people that the hustlers. Mm-hmm. They were the only people that
could think outside the box.
Yeah, because they was hustling. I am a product of myself. I was able to go to law school because my uncle was a hustler. Like many people, I'm a few generations, a generation from you guys, maybe two. Mm-hmm. My uncle was a hustler, and he was trying to bring numbers to L.A. And my mother, you know, back in the day, hustlers they still don't like banks. So my mother had his money. He said, look, sis, I trust you. You hold my money, right? And what happened, he got murdered. My mother got all the money, and I told him before he got killed, I would like to be a lawyer. He said, yeah, okay. So that's, you think paid for me to go to law school, that money. And black people don't ever give that, but I'm not saying, there were some good things, and having been and observed, I have watched kids, when y'all were kids, y'all people y'all's age were kids. They got kids. And some of them have went to the best schools with drug money, you know, and we able to say. So I'm not saying that there's always a balance. There's good and bad, but we're not going. I could talk for these. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Just let me say something though, because we know that in the African American communities, like in the ghetto communities, the first sign of success that we see coming up, we don't really see our parents going to lawyers, doctors, so forth and so on. A lot of times we see the drug dealers. The drug dealers runs with the nice cars, the nice clothes, so forth and so on. So we are attracted to that early because that's the first sign of success we really see. Seeing our parents going to work is not something our dad is struggling, our mom is struggling to maintain a household. That doesn't breed success to us. Success is just seeing that Mercedes on that corner, that them fresh clothes, so forth and so on. But I was speaking to him about that. I said, if you take that same drug dealer and change his skin color and put him in the different communities, the Caucasian communities, whatever other communities that they are, those children will probably do the same thing or be attracted to that as well, because that will be another sign of success. It probably wouldn't be as high because a lot of them are privileged, but they would see another form of success, and some of those kids may even take that route to be drug dealers in these suburban communities, in my opinion.
Well, I know I enjoy being a lawyer, and that's why. But our people run from for good reason our community. But I think when I put on my shirt and tie and I walk down the street and the young kids say, "You a lawyer?" I say, "Yeah, I'm a lawyer." I like to be a lawyer. I'm able to be an example of something that we traditionally don't have in North Philadelphia, black professionals. Who wants to be in black, But the issue is that we're going back, crime in the neighborhoods and the fear. We are scared right now. And that's why I said we got to do something. So the thing about the not guilty is that we really need to start screaming that we're not guilty, because you're young and black, nobody likes you. If you're a black man, nobody likes you. And that's one of the major things, beyond getting black people on juries and saying the word not guilty. The not guilty campaign is primarily dealt with, we screaming not black power today, but I'm not guilty, because if you recognize every political season, every time there's somebody runs for office, they run
Somebody's
over.
going to jail.
They say, "Oh, well, we got to clean up these streets. It's too much violence and too much crime." Well, we don't have enough time for me to talk about that, but I just appreciate you all to give me an opportunity to just come on and say that.
Let me ask you another question, Bert. These politicians and these people of the governors, and not singling out anyone, but all around the world, those people are, a lot of them are criminals too, because a lot of their children are funded, going to these schools based off of drug deals, or underhanded deals. It may not be drug deals, underhanded deals somewhere along the line, that because everybody can't be upright. There's no way for everybody to be
going to prison all the time.
Yeah, nobody's upright.
And they're taking off
nobody's upright.
Donations that they're keeping for themselves.
I'm sorry, I want to say nobody, but not everybody goes by the book. Not every person you may see is a straight head-on religious person or straight businessman. You have people that sometimes take opportunities that are in front of them, because that's just the natural nature of people. We just sometimes want to take advantage of an opportunity. It takes a strong person to walk away from everything. Like you get 1,000 different propositions that may be illegal in front of you. It's going to be hard for an individual to kind of walk away from 1,000 opportunities. Especially if there's money there, opportunity for you to better your family, opportunity for you to better yourself in a way of financial gain. People are taking advantage of these opportunities, and it doesn't always mean that it's African American or black people in this ghetto community. We're just taking advantage of what's in front of us. But these people take advantage on a higher scale, whereas though it's millions and millions of dollars and all those different things. And you said you've seen them in the federal penitentiary. You've seen them.
Oh yeah, he was in the feds.
I see them getting arrested. I haven't actually been on a yard per se with any of them, but I see them get arrested and get charged and get found guilty for what they did.
Yeah.
So yes, they you have a lot of them that cuts corners. Yes, you do.
That's what I'm saying. So it's just on a different level or a different platform.
Yeah.
So people learn to be, learn to be slick in business in different aspects. They learn how to just be better. But they are still, so-called, we can call them criminals or so-called criminal-minded, but they're just doing it in a different way, if I should say, or a different platform, in my opinion.
Well, I think that when you have, you got white-collar crime, and then you got, I say street crime, obviously, but it's all crime. And but I think in terms of our community, a lot of our crime could be dealt with if we dealt with. Well, number one, let me say this though. crime, remember, is about making money. In America, we're a capitalist society, so the main purpose, the motivating factor in this country is making money.
Exactly.
And there's you got the street crime, which they identify as us, and then you got the people that make real, steal hundreds of millions of dollars, and they it's just like with the drugs. They had it, what was that, 5 grams? No, it was 2 grams. Which one was it in the federal press when they had it when it's 1,000?
It was 100. It was 100 to 1.
Yeah, 100 to 1.
Then they just made it 18 to 1.
Oh, okay.
That's what the law that Trump passed.
Oh,
they wanted to make it 1 to 1, so the time that, like, if I was convicted of cocaine, then it would come all the way down. But then making it 18 to 1 now.
Oh, okay. They're always playing games with let white folks out of things and be hard on us. But we as a people, we in a little bind right now because we got our young people. We gonna have to really get like I said, what are those 3 things? It makes money, right, and it keeps us in fear, and it destabilizes. Right now, we in such a fear. One of the things I want, Black. You said you came home, you got caught with a gun, right?
Yes.
That's the other thing this whole not guilty thing is about. If we could get on juries, right, locally, it wasn't, and we say not guilty. I think personally, I consider drugs and guns are state-sponsored crimes because they have everybody knows we're not trying to get rid of guns in this country. You got too many. You got more guns than you got anything. And drugs is the biggest money maker on the planet. So if you got those 2 things, you're not going to be able to get rid of them. But what we can do is have some influence. If somebody like him gets stopped with a gun in the car, and I'm very concerned about how they have this, all the technology they have. If you're on parole or probation, they have all these algorithms, these computers that match you up. If they know if you got a car, they know if your girlfriend got a car, your wife got a car. If she owns a gun, or before you came home that they got a gun, and they got these computers that match all this stuff. So when you ride around and they hit that number, they ride around and they run up everybody's tags, and then it some kind of way it alerts them. There's a possibility they got a gun in that car because he's married to he's on parole or probation, parole or state, and he's married to a person, or he's with somebody, or he lives in a household where they have guns.
Wow.
So they follow up with that. The other big thing, and then they want to put you, my neighbor, and I told him I'll talk about this, and my neighbor lived next door to me, and he got locked out the back. He's out in the backyard, and he couldn't get back in the house, door locked, And he climbed over the fence, went through the alleyway, and come out the alleyway. The police stopped him. He had a gun on him that he was looking at in the backyard. He said, "I take care." He told him, he didn't knock on my door. I said, "Why you tell him knock on my door? Maybe I could have talked him out of locking him up." But they locked him up, and they felt that he needed to be in jail for 2 to 4 years for a gun that didn't even work and could not work. It was a piece of trash.
You still was around in their house.
But and they put him in jail, not because he was on the street doing it. He just walking from the alleyway of his backyard to the front of the house. And this system gave him 2 to 4 years in prison plus his back time.
Wow.
And they think that's fair.
Let me ask you a question though, Bert. We have a situation, right? Well, we just went through, the murder rate is still high now, but it was just maybe a year ago, it was like, I think a record breaking, I believe.
A couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was record breaking.
Yeah, it was.
A lot of these young kids out here shooting up everything, shooting each other. And a lot of times it's not about money. It's about internet beefs, People said stuff. A lot of these things are going on.
Yeah.
And a lot of these kids have no idea what goes on behind prison. Nobody, they're not afraid of death. So many deaths, and then also we losing kids to they're going to prison. So we losing two. We use one to the graveyard and then one to the prison system. And these kids aren't educated about what goes on or what can happen to them by playing these games. What advice would you give to these kids? Or I'll start with you, Brahim. What advice could you give to these kids, or what can they look forward to by playing this game of whatever's going on with murder, killing each other over internet stuff? They don't understand what they're doing.
The only advice I can give them, either death or the penitentiary. There's nothing else. Either stop it, man. Go find you a job, man. It's nothing, because when I was young, when we was young, couldn't nobody tell us nothing. We was broke. I'm coming to a lot of these dudes with nothing going on, with just words. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. Ain't nobody trying to hear that at all. I'm coming, young boy, stay out of the jail. I'm looking at the old heads like, he's a fucking sucker. Who he telling me something? He washed up, he did 40 years. They parked his whip. That's why he over there talking about don't go to jail. This is what I'm thinking. I'm wanting some money, and they thinking that too. All we're going out there is with, hopefully we can catch one voice or one ear. We can catch one ear of paying attention. Mm-hmm. But the advice I give them, man, stand on your business, man. I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm telling you, if you do it, this is what's waiting for you. I could care less if you did it or not, because I know what I'm doing. I got to govern the people that's under me, my kids, my friends. I'm just reaching out to the mass as a beware. I'm telling you, this is what they have for you. The grave is there, definitely, and the penitentiary is there building them as we speak.
Yeah, and it's a big business, but the kids aren't getting that aspect. So Bert, kind of give me your perspective and what advice from a lawyer's perspective of for one, you can't represent somebody that's dead, but you can represent the person that's fighting these charges, or looking at life in the penitentiary.
Well, I represented a couple of young people, real nice kid, and I still think he's a good kid, very respectful, always nice. Hey, Mr. Bert, blah, and come to find out he's alleged one of these shooters. They finally arrested him for 3 bodies and 2 attempts.
Did he? What happened with his case? I want to fast forward. What's going on?
I don't do those heavyweight cases anymore. But wow. I do know a couple of lawyers that are involved in that, and the tragedy is, to me, is that and I know people don't want to ever say this, but to me, they're victims of a shrewd manipulation. You take good kids, how do they end up end up killing somebody, thinking it's okay to kill somebody?
Do you think it's rap music or music?
I think, man, music. You get our music, you got us.
Wow.
There was a quote when I was 18, 16.
Say it again, Bert.
There was a quote that I was 18 years old. It said, black people have more records than books and are dancing their lives away. Our music is extremely important to us as a people. They found that, they tapped it, they didn't work, they be working us with that music. And obviously when you put that type of music, and it has subliminal messaging as well, we don't ever talk about that. Those subliminal messages, when you don't really say it, you don't hear it, but they put it in the background of the music. A lot of that, I'm sure, is there. But we have not looked at that in our music, and people don't. Our music helped us survive during slavery, and it has always been a major part of our lives. The rhythm, we dance. And all of that, and music has a lot to. They get our music, they got us. They got us through our music. When they had the Chuck D and Public Enemy and the Dead Prez and all of these rap groups that had messages, they didn't make any money. And so when people they want to make money, they give us foolishness. And it's always been like that in history. Like, if you could, it's about making money in this country, right? So they're victims because they're there. Somebody's making a lot of money off of that music, that negative music that they listen to.
And it's all about the business aspect. It's not even people like you said. People are getting the money to, finance their families, to take care of their families, but they don't care about the inner city kids that are being destroyed. So they'll put more money behind what's so-called drill music and all this kind of music to get, which infiltrates the minds of the kids, and the kids are eating it up. And then these people are making millions and millions of dollars, and their kids are going nowhere near the suburb. Nowhere near the hood. They're living in these suburban communities, and they're just pumping this negativity into this drug use, this murder, this drill, this whatever it is. They just promoting this so heavy into the community, into these broken homes, drug use. Because like I said, go back to it. We glorified the drug dealer. Drug dealer, he destroys the community. He breaks up these homes, these mother and fatherly homes where the mother and the father are in there together to raise the kids, but it's broken up because he's out here selling it. And it starts with the higher ups, like the governors and the mayors and these people who are turning a blind eye to certain things, letting it just slide. So whereas though it goes into the community and then it infiltrates into what? The homes. And the homes are broken. The mother's on drugs, the dad is on drugs, and the father's in prison, so forth and so on. So, and then it's trickling down, even worse now, to the kid, to the children. So now they're not even trying to get any money. They're just trying to kill somebody.
Yeah, they got that poison in their head all the time, but you can't.
A lot of them
tell
drug
them.
babies already. No disrespect, but a lot of our community is affected by drugs. So the kids are affected. There are these chips stacked against them because of where we raised. But then when you add an element of them being affected by the drugs that their parents may have used, even liquor, alcohol, this stuff affects the mental aspect of a child or of an individual. Right. It affects you. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's like one of the biggest. That's if not the biggest cause for a lot of disease and so forth and so on is liquor, and it's on every corner in the community,
right?
Causing people to be outside of themselves, and the kids, and when they wake up and they be where in a place like prison, or if not dead in the grave, they wake up in prison, spend the rest of their life. Then they have to adapt and turn to something that they have no idea about, and that's their life for the rest of their lives, whether it's federal or whether it's SCI or FCI, one or the other.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think our young people are victimizers or victims?
I think both. I mean, and because I would say more so victims, because I'm gonna say why I think we are victims, because some kids are born into this before their parents are subject to something. So it's like generation after generation. It started up here, maybe one generation made a wrong mistake, and now once it's in the community, it is just handed down to kids that are younger than me that don't have the opportunity to make a choice. We're just born into it. So you're born into it. You see the kids running up down the block who don't have anything. They didn't have the opportunity to choose their parents or choose their family. They just born into it. So now they got to try to figure it out.
Prime example, me. My mother got 4 kids, 4 different baby fathers. My mother was a crack addict, beyond crack addict. We used to live in a garage in North Philadelphia on Harold Street. I'm talking about I could recollect these days because it was so much traumatizing that it imprinted on my brain at an early age, 4 and 5. I'm remembering images from 4 and 5 years old because it was so traumatizing to me. We used to live in a garage, you open up the garage and drive your car in, that much space. There's 4 kids and adults. My mom is in here selling pussy. She calling people in the back to get high, not to feed us, to go get high. So we were victims from the drive. So now what we do, we going around the street, we cold, we stinking, we hungry. I'm still in there, me and my little sister. I'm still in raw lunch meat. I'm still in bologna. We eating hot dogs as raw, cold out the pack. This is victimized. This is not a taught way of living life. This is the circumstances, and we got to do what we got to do to survive. And to tell you the truth, I'm not even mad because that made me who I am today. To preserve past the stop sign that's right there in the road for me, where a lot of people probably gave it up. You get a lot of these white folks to get into these type of conditions and they put a rope around their neck.
Yeah.
Because it's too like, oh my, I can't, I done went days without eating, days without washing up. It was cool to keep the same drawers on for 3-4 weeks because I didn't know no better. There was nobody to teach me, and I was young. So the only thing on my mind was some money. In order to fix this is money, and a job ain't doing it for me.
Yeah, because we're not trained that way. We're not trained to think like that.
Let me ask you this, young man, and you eventually got older and you learned how to swing a pack or
yes,
whatever, and
or robbing one or another.
Okay. That was, what do you say when people say, yeah, but Johnny down the street came up the same way, but Johnny went to college?
His patience. The judge said that to me.
That's
what the judge said to me when he gave me 420 months. He said, man, it's sad that you had this story, but I know a bunch of people that didn't have silver spoons, and he was correct. They may have different environments though. They may was not eating them much. Had both parents in the house, but the parents just keep the roofs on. Told you we was in a garage, no parents for days. I ain't see my mom this Monday when she left out. It's next Monday. I ain't seen her. I'm 6, my sister 5. So I'm dead now.
So when did you get?
The foster care took me.
Okay, the foster.
I went through the foster system.
All right, now,
I'm living from foster family to foster family, and that's a trauma in itself. I had a good foster family that got a lot of money way up Chestnut Hill, 206 East Mermaid Lane. He was a Reverend Davis. He had a mansion. I'm talking about a baby mansion with acres of land. He used to have the backyard set up for Sunday Passovers and all that. But after everybody leave and the Bibles get closed, he used to lock the kids in the basement. And he used to feed us the plates that his real kids, his biological kids ate and didn't eat. He would bring them to the basement door and put them at the top of the steps and lock it back. You see what I'm saying? So it's more trauma on top of trauma and on top of trauma.
Do you feel you need therapy today?
No, I don't feel that. I'm not up here speaking because I'm angry. I got a story to tell. It's not about me. It's not about me up here, how I feel. No, I'm grown. I went through it. I made it, I think, to some degree.
Did you ever do therapy?
No. Therapy is in the mind of the beholder.
Did they ever try to get you to do therapy?
No, for what? Because I was sound. I'm sound and I'm sane. I'm not crazy. I know what's 1 + 1 and I know right from wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm not crazy at all, any means necessary. No.
Yeah, it's almost like, like you said, sometimes the pressure can get to you, or it can make you who you are. Like it could just destroy you. Some people get, like you said, some people might come to the hood and see the hood and hang themselves.
Man, I tell people, and that's just a slight breath of what I've endured in life. I done been in dog cages and stuff like that. This is what humans thought was right to do to little kids.
Were you ever put in solitary confinement during the time you was in jail?
Yes, I done been in 2-3 years solitary confinement at a time. Yes, I done been in SMU programs, special management units. Why? Because I was acting out. I didn't like nobody that came from Philadelphia. If you told on somebody, if you was a part of the act, y'all was selling dope, y'all was busting guns together, and then when the cops caught up to you, which is a part of it, and you told, oh, it wasn't just me, it was Bert too. Oh yeah, I was on your ass. I was putting that knife on you with that lock. So I had to go to the hole for stuff like that. And they look at that as like an act of gang violence.
Are you done?
Yes, I'm done. I'm 44 years old. I'm closer to the grave than I am to life. I'm getting into my later years of life. Once a man get to 50, ain't no time to be sitting in nobody penitentiaries. I got a son, alhamdulillah. I got a 4-year-old son. You know what I'm saying? He's beautiful to me. I have stepkids. My wife kids, they're beautiful. That's something for me to try to get them not to go the way that I want. Yeah. Now I have so now I can focus all the rest of my life, what little life I do have. I may have a lot, I may have a little, but I know I'm past 40. This is why I know the declination in life starts to slow down past 40. And with that, I'm going to use the rest of this I got to take care of and protect my family and to implement the do's and don'ts of the real society. Because people would just tell you, oh, this is yellow, this is green, this is an apple, this is a plum. No, there is a bigger insight to just that.
So what's the main reason you don't believe you'll go back to jail?
The main reason is because For me, a man know when he's done. I done tried the streets all my life. All my entire life. And the only thing, I'm 44 years old. Out of 44 years, I got about 32 of that in the penitentiary. Out of 44 years of living.
So you
I done been charged with double, yes, I done been charged with double homicides, sat for 3.5 years on state road by the grace of Allah. I got my friends to help pay a lawyer him. And yeah, I beat them. Dave Meshach and all them. I'm 17 years old when I'm catching these cases. Before then, I'm in juvenile, Glen Mills, St. Gabe's, Vision Quest. I'm CBD 5th floor certified. I'm robbing people at 14 years old. So I'm catching adult cases at 14, so I'm getting certified. So I'm lashing out from the stuff that I never had because I want to get something. But I'm at a point in life now to where as though I'm firm in my beliefs. I'm firm in what I know. I'm firm in what I want to do. It's not about the next man. It's about me now.
Okay. Did you participate in the lawsuits?
No, I didn't. No,
with
Glen Mills. Yeah, I think I tried to do it one time, and I don't know. By the grace of Allah, I ain't never been touched by none of them people up there. I've been touched physically as far as in hands for attention when you getting in trouble and they stand you up and beat you like grown men.
Well, that's part of the lawsuit.
Well, I have
you
not.
You get more money if they,
if they did the Sandusky type thing too. Yeah.
You know that lawsuit. You still, I understand there's still lawyers that are looking for people.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, they need to come look for me. I was up there, Van Buren. I still remember Sean Congroves, all them staff that was up there. I remember PMC, John Ford, all them that worked while I was there that was putting hands to body on not just me, but everybody that was in there. Man, I was getting beat every which way from Monday to Sunday.
Because what?
I ain't want to listen.
He was a badass.
Yeah, man. I was every day I woke up. You couldn't tell me nothing. My anger was towards the world when it should have been at myself. Like to better myself. I always look for the blame for somebody else. Until I just did this long prison sentence. I just did 21 years. I had to go back for an 18-month violation when I got caught with this firearm. And out of the 18 months, I probably did about 16 months overall till I was released just now currently.
How long ago was that?
I just got released October 1st of 2023.
October 1st.
Yes, I just got out the halfway house March 27th of 25. Excuse me, not 23, of 24. It's 25 now. I got on October 1st, October 24. I had to do 6 months in the halfway house, Kentuck, right around here on Erie, 301 East Erie Avenue. I got out of that March 27th of 25. So I've been basically a free man for about a little over a month now. Probably not even that. You know what I'm saying? And then, I only got a year probation. My probation with the state, it stops in May, this May coming up. And then I got about another 10 months with the feds. And I haven't been a free man. I'm 44 years old, Bert. I haven't been a free man since like 92, 93.
So let me.
And when I say free, meaning
I know
without no parole, no nothing.
When you leave jail, how much do what my friend called, you have invisible bars? What like he said, they.
I think they follow you for the rest of your life.
And
every day I wake up, I see them.
The invisible bars.
Yes, every day I wake up, I see them. As we sit up here talking right now, we're inside a cage. In my mind.
I'm talking about like when you gonna go get a job, you got
yeah.
all of these.
If it wasn't for this friend of mine, who's alhamdulillah, he got platforms that we can get on.
This is it. Let me ask you this. I don't know how I should be doing this while we doing this podcast, but we here. Is this therapeutic for you?
Yes, I would say yeah. Talking about it, yes. Because I see now when it's like me looking at my life, talking about it, and I'm like, wow, I actually went that way. As we're sitting here conversing about it, I could separate from myself and look at the conversation, if that makes any sense, and then it would make more sense to me of why I can't go back to prison, why I gotta be a voice. If I can't catch nobody, at least just have somebody just like, oh, what do you say right there? Even just that might catch somebody.
Okay, let me ask you this question. And I'm sorry,
no, it's fine. It's fine.
And I don't want you to answer this. Do you still feel you need a gun?
Yes.
I want to keep it real.
Yes. Every day. I'm going to need a gun every day of the week until the day I die. And if any man out here don't feel like that, they're crazy, especially if you're making any type of, especially living in Philadelphia. And I'm not, when I say have a gun.
Why you so hard on?
I'm just saying, look at the
Philly
environment.
is rough.
Look at the environment we in. We
Right,
can
wait
go
a
outside
minute.
right now. We're in here doing something. But look at the environment we're in Kensington right now, right? We're in the heart of Kensington.
Go around
We're
the
here
corner.
doing some good speaking. We're here doing some beware speaking, some awareness speaking. And we'll come out of here right now and be ready to jump in these vehicles in this parking lot and I go our own ways. And crackheads will come to us and try to rob us. I'm going to kill you. I got to make it home to my family.
But I'm not from North, but I've lived here a long time. Maybe because I don't hang out in that circle.
No, me either. I don't either.
I just go to the store.
I just see. We came up from two backgrounds.
Oh yeah, we definitely came
We
up.
came up from two. We came up.
Oh
from,
boy.
So the mentality I had with the situation, you might see two people arguing in front of a store and still go in that store to purchase what you're gonna purchase. My street instinct, like, what they? I'm gonna keep on going to the next store down the street, but they don't make you wrong because you still want. This is a store.
Yeah, don't make
but
you
I
wrong,
have
but scared.
street awareness that the next person may never have.
Might call it spider senses. You like,
Exactly. You understand what I'm saying?
Something might happen
because of what I've been through.
I remember it was like a time, maybe like a year straight. It's still going on now, where you seeing so many people caught up in these Chinese stores getting shot. I mean, innocent people in the store, the shots is going off. So for us, you think about that. Listen, they beefing right here. This guy may leave and come back. I'm here ordering when I'm ordering. Somebody come back and shoot the store up.
Yeah, I'm not going. I don't go to no gas stations at nighttime. If it get dark, you won't catch me at a gas station. I go all my gas station in the daytime. And I'm going to crowd, not because I'm scared, because I'm cautious. I know how I did when I was young, and now we had integrity when I was young. And I'm not even old as you, so I can imagine the integrity that y'all had growing up before us. Now they growed up. I could be with my son. It ain't no pause to them. They could kill my little 2-year-old baby and miss me and be in a rap song. Yeah, we smoking on that baby from the other day. Like, this is the
mentality.
This is the bravado that these guys carry. Like, yeah, we ain't get him, but we got his son. Yeah, that little baby won't be eating no burgers tonight. But this is cool to you. So you gotta sharpen steel with steel.
So let me ask you this. Do you think if there was a program where you
I think, Bert, that some people need to go to jail. Jail was created for, at the end of the day, okay, yeah, do they oppress the black man sometime more than the other ethnic groups? Yes, they do. But jail is built. You got chomos. You know what a chomo is? I'm quite sure you're a lawyer. You heard that slang before. It's child molester. A chomo means child molester.
He deserved to be in
These
prison.
dudes in here, you corrupt. This little 2-year-old baby don't know nothing. You playing with her little vagina.
Right.
And you sign, but the doctors say he's sick. Give him 5 years in a mental institution, let him go home. But I got caught with 4.5 grams of crack. You give me 25 years. Years of somebody buy. I'm not putting no gun in your head and say buy this. Now I'm not saying it's right to sell this either. But two wrongs don't make it work. This guy done sucked a little 2-year-old boy dick, and you call it a mental illness and send him to a psych ward for 3 years. I got caught with 9 ounces of crack because he want to buy it. You give me 25 years. You get what I'm saying? 25 years off of something he wanted to buy. Granted, it's wrong. Yes, I know this is against the law, but what's the levels to this now? I don't get it. Like me, I chose to step away from that lifestyle. That lifestyle been bringing me strife, loss all my life. So I got to do it another way. I got to do it another way. I will not fail at this way. I'm not going back to prison. You know, a man knows when he's at the end. Like, that's a young man. I just then was sitting on State Road, man. I was sitting on State Road 16 months ago before I went to my jail. I couldn't believe it, man. I couldn't believe. I was over on State Road in 99 when they first opened up CFC, 99, 2000. I just went back over there in 2023. 24. I could not believe the conditions that the people are over there at the door. They don't let you out. You might be lucky to barely to get an hour out of the. It's oppressing conditions. That is something that there alone is enough for me. You know, not just the longevity of the day in and day out of jailhouse activity. That's why I run this podcast, to bring awareness to what's going on in these penal systems now today. More so than the state, because where the feds different from the state is dealing with just Pennsylvania. Now, you might got a couple dudes from New York because they try to come to the city or something like that. You got Harrisburg, Chester. It's just dealing with Pennsylvania. With the feds, you dealing with every nigga in the United States. You got your New York, your D.C., your Carolina, your Baltimore, your Virginia. You got your California niggas. And everybody is in there, the bravado, who got the biggest dick in there. What's up? So it's more dangerous than the feds is, if you understand. I mean, than the state, if you get what I'm saying. So Philly dudes, we all Philly. Once we get there, me and you might have had a beef on the street. Oh no, we can't keep doing that while we in the feds, because we got too much stuff against us. Because we both from Philadelphia.
Right. Do you think if they were, if young people that got 5 years in, who are still young, juveniles, and some of the young people that committed homicides, but I don't know. I heard after 5 or 10 years, after 5 to 7 years, and you done got life, they say then it starts to set in on you.
Yes.
You're never
it don't set into you. When I was doing this time just now, like this 21 years, it didn't set until I got to like my 12th year, and I finally got my GED. I was happy as hell. Like, damn, I got something. Like I used that as a badge of honor. Like, my GED was like the highest point of my life achievement. Because, you know, a lot of black dudes don't get GEDs or high school diplomas or whatever. Something so minute that a person would be so happy about, which I was. But when
did you recognize, or when did you feel
that this wasn't the thing for me to do no more?
No. When the reality of a 20-year sentence hit, when did that slap you?
That slapped me about 13 years. 12, 13 years into my bed. When I looked up and I still had all that time left. And I'm 12, 13 years, so now I'm not 21 no more.
Okay.
I'm 33, 34. Still midlife, but I'm like, well, damn. I came home early. I wasn't supposed to come home in 2029. Trump passed the Fair Sentencing Act law in 2001. The judge resentenced me and gave me immediate discharge. My date was October 16th, 2029.
Yeah, that was the nonviolent drug offenders, right?
Yes, the 2-point conversion, yes.
Yeah.
When that came out, if you was nonviolent, they could go ahead and, resentence you, and that's what the judge did. She resentenced me and gave me time served.
How many people was
on my case?
No, how many people did it affect?
Oh, thousands. That affected it. They relieved the federal system with that, but they filled it back up. I'm talking about faster than they left out. They was filling it up that night. They already knew all the people they was letting go. They knew, hey, you got people in the feds that's walking around with an indictment that don't even know the indictment. They indict you and won't even come get you to 2-3 months after the grand jury.
Right,
then say, you go pick him up. And they still let you wander around the streets. It won't even come get you. But you are indicted by a grand jury, a federal grand jury.
And just moving around, walking around the city like
they just waiting to go get you. Like, yeah, we go get him, but he's indicted now.
Okay.
Do they watch you? Like, I'm gonna cut you off.
Yes, they do. They watch you because you're indicted. They want to see if you do something else during this little 3-month grace period they're giving you. But you're indicted. You got to get indicted by a federal grand jury for them to go and arrest.
No, these people don't even know that the indictment is ready to drop.
No. You walking around oblivious to what's going on.
Yeah.
And then they use whatever actions you did illegally after your indictment. You don't know anything. They bring that and put that back in your face when you have like your bail hearings and anything like that. They tell you, you did this. You had a fight with your girlfriend. He's, and all of that comes. They put it back. Well, let me ask you this: are you? And I often tell people when they ask me what do I do for a living, I tell them I keep guns and drugs on the streets of Philadelphia. I help keep guns and drugs on the streets of Philadelphia.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the system is so designed where I make money, right?
Yeah.
By keeping. Do you think?
Oh, I get it. So you're representing the criminals or people that are perceived to be criminals, and you're trying to keep them on the street.
You
Isn't that what I do?
Yes,
as a
yes,
criminal
it is.
defense
Yes,
lawyer.
yes.
That's
yes,
what I get
that's
paid,
exactly,
and a lot of lawyers get paid a lot of money.
Yes, they do.
Yes,
They
I know.
get that.
You know one for you done paid one a whole lot. Still
I
paying
paid a
him to
few.
this day.
I paid a few of them.
Yeah,
A lot of money.
yeah.
So,
Sheesh. Get some of that money back. We'd be good.
how much? I said that to say, we talk about how much money is made off of crime, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's capitalist. But nobody talks about how much money comes out of our community. They talk about, mothers, and you probably know, sell cars, sell dinners to raise money for. I'm having chicken dinners to pay the lawyers, and they do take money out of their 401k. I gotta pay whatever that bullshit is. They take money out of their life savings and to pay bail and pay lawyers.
For their son who's out here, or their son or daughter out here running around.
That's why I say
crazy.
the jail is built. Like, jail is built. Some people need to see that. Like, that is the best lesson to a man in life.
But isn't it very destructive?
Yeah.
Somebody go to jail, isn't that?
It's going to either make you or break you.
I'm dealing now with there's a lot of gun cases, and these gun cases are young men that have never been in jail before.
Yes.
And like you said, their parents are running. But listen, when we was running around acting crazy, we didn't have parents. We had to rely on ourselves. It was more so like
we didn't have no big homies.
We had to rely amongst each other. So we had a core group where we stuck together and made sure that we did whatever we had to do to make sure our people had lawyers. We wasn't calling no moms, no dads, no aunts, no uncles. It was like we young men with this mentality, like we gonna figure it out.
Yeah, but y'all made a lot of money.
They made a lot of money.
They did. I mean, back in the 90s, early 90s, I remember as a kid, I'll never forget, he was 14 years old. He's up in the projects. I think he's doing well now. I said, how much money do you make selling crack up here in the projects? And I said, you ever add it up? He said, no. I sit down with that kid in like 90, 91, 92. I said, you make, for a 14-year-old, you make $250,000 a year.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That back in the day, that's how, and he just a little.
That's a lot right now in the day. Back in the day. Well, go on, give me a little piece of that.
Crack is, but
Show
that's what I'm
enough,
saying though. Is it getting drugs and guns are the principal? They're the main. That's the main thing. We keep putting people in jail for.
Yeah, and it's like we could sit here and talk about it all day because it's like a never-ending hole. Like you're just throwing so much to so many families, so many people destroyed, so much stuff going on. But before we go, Bert, because I know we perfect time. You got some things you got to do. Ms. Jackson got some things you want to do. As a lawyer, can you just elaborate on or speak to the children or the kids or people listening, whoever it is, adults, young adults, men and women, boys, girls, whoever it is, who are looking to choose a life of crime. Speak to them into, what's down that path.
Well,
from your experiences.
My experience is that you're going to have to. Number one, I think they're going to have to deal with the fact that they hate each other. I mean, that they've been taught to hate each other, and that we need to really look at how to, I don't know, maybe on. Call it Unity Friday, where everybody has a T-shirt or something. They need some activities that bring them together because young people, I don't know why, and I haven't looked at that, but young men don't even like each other. They don't even like, you ever seen them introduce or been around a group, one group from this group and one group? They don't even want to talk. When I was growing up, they used to. I first think it starts with self, and they have to look at the self-hate, but that's way beyond. I would just say, you really want me to tell you? Hello?
I'm listening.
Okay. don't get caught.
Don't get caught. Rule
Yeah.
yeah. Don't get caught.
Because if you get caught, you better start going back, listening to some stories I done put up here already.
Yeah, don't get
and the
caught.
ones, and listening to the ones that I got coming too.
Yeah, but they really are young people. You are being tracked, and I don't know. I haven't figured out how they gonna be able to. But you in a hunt, and you're being hunted. That's what I would.
And
tell
the world
them.
is like one big camera. Like you just everywhere you turn, it's a camera.
They want
catching
'em.
footage. They tracking cell phones on these devices, and
Oh my goodness.
so it's like you're playing a game where though there's a big chance, like a 90-something% chance that you do something wrong. At
You're
some
gonna
point,
get caught.
You're going to get caught. You're going to jail.
You're gonna get caught, and they got those.
And your friends might telling you.
And they got
9
cameras.
times out of 10, yes, that's what's going to happen.
They got
Get out of jail,
cameras
free
out
card.
here. They got cameras now. All the police cameras now have that gun recognition on it. That AI.
Where they
where
can
you
recognize
are,
you when you got a
wherever
gun on
you
you?
got a gun.
Wow.
And they tie it into all the cameras around. The city now has all the Ring cameras. They got so much. If you got a gun, and we'll come back maybe and talk about that. I want to tell people how to handle that. If you gonna drive with one illegally, because I think the reality is that people are going to carry guns until we straighten this down out. They really are.
But do you fault
You
them?
rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
But do you fault them? When you got honest
you want me to
Uber
be honest?
drivers working out here,
Yeah.
an Uber driver late at night, he gets shot in his back of his head. Do people going to this stuff is horrible. So I'm gonna keep that iron on me, and if you bring that over in my direction,
you're not.
no, I'm not gonna keep it on. No, not
Well,
to
let's
say like
clarify
the
that.
mentality.
the mentality,
The
like
mentality, okay.
I understand why I understand. I get it. I get it wholeheartedly.
Young people, I would just tell all of them.
If you ain't getting away
watching
from
them.
this area, you got to have it.
They watching y'all. They watching
Yes, they
y'all
are.
big time, and stay off of that showing your gun
On the
on the
internet.
internet, on social media, Instagram, TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Do not do that. They got a app that if you show a gun on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, that app will immediately alert the police, and then they start following you.
Wow. So stay focused out here, young ladies and young men and old women, middle age, whatever you are, stay focused, stay out of trouble. It's Tales from the Jails. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thank you for having me.
Wow. We got another homie named B, Bougie B from Southwest. B always just want to just go crazy. He's standing at the door like basically playing Sharif, guarding the door to, making sure nobody go in, go out. It's a fair, fighting there. Before each men went in there, the Philly dude got to make sure he ain't got no weapon. The dude was making sure he ain't got no weapon. We making sure the dude that Rafiq Rage fight ain't got no weapon. So boom, we clear him, they clear Feek, they both go in there and get it. Again, Feek trashing him. This is 6 minutes of trash.